Hello, everyone, and welcome to Speak Up, your go-to space for taking your English skills to the next level. I'm Ryan, and I want to start by saying thank you for choosing to spend your valuable time with us today. Whether you're on a short break or settled in for a longer session, we truly appreciate you being here. Today, we're setting the stage to explore a challenge that many of us face: why it feels like you're stuck at intermediate English. I know many of you have been searching for actionable advice, be it practical English-speaking tips or ways to learn English fast, and I promise that by the end of our conversation, you'll feel more equipped to overcome these obstacles. We're here to make every second count and turn your time into quality time that genuinely improves your English fluency. So get comfortable and prepare for some engaging insights that will help you move forward on your language journey.
Hi everyone, I'm Priya, and I'm thrilled to join Ryan as we kick off today's session with a question many of you might be familiar with. Have you ever experienced that sinking feeling when, despite all the effort you put into practicing, your English seems to plateau at an intermediate level? It's a challenge that can leave you feeling frustrated and stuck, especially when progress appears to slow down after reaching a certain point. Today, we're going to dig deep into the underlying reasons behind this phenomenon and uncover practical strategies to break through that barrier. We'll talk about overcoming internal hesitations, the pitfalls of over-reliance on translations, and even share some innovative techniques that help you improve English fluency naturally. By shifting your mindset and applying these fresh approaches, you'll be well on your way to engaging in real-life conversations with ease. So, if you're ready to challenge the status quo and elevate your English skills beyond what you thought possible, you're in the perfect place.
Now that we've set the scene, let me give you a clear picture of what's coming up. In this episode, we'll explore why so many language learners hit that frustrating intermediate plateau and what you can do to level up. We're not here to rehash old methods. Instead, we'll introduce step-by-step strategies that work in everyday situations. Imagine having the confidence to speak English without hesitation, to understand native speakers effortlessly, and to tackle everyday conversations with a richer vocabulary. We'll be sharing practical insights on how to implement techniques such as thinking in English and engaging in daily conversational practice, all aimed at helping you learn English fast and improve English fluency. Our discussion today is crafted especially for those balancing busy lives, where every minute of practice counts.
Before we jump into the heart of today's discussion, I want to extend our deepest gratitude to each of you for being here. We understand that your time is precious, and we're committed to ensuring that every minute you invest with us becomes quality time that propels you toward your language goals. At Speak Up, our aim is to provide you with fresh perspectives and practical advice. Whether you're seeking to master new English speaking tips or simply looking to break free from an intermediate learning rut, your commitment to improving your skills inspires us to work even harder to deliver clear, actionable insights. So thank you once again for joining us. We're confident that the conversation ahead will offer you valuable tools to overcome obstacles and truly elevate your English proficiency.
Let's take a closer look at what we mean by intermediate English for many of us. At this level, you often find that your foundation is strong enough to manage basic conversations, yet you start to hit a ceiling where progress seems to stall. Many middle-class learners rely heavily on translating thoughts from their native language instead of switching to thinking directly in English. This reliance creates a dependency that slows down your ability to respond quickly and naturally. Moreover, if your study routine centers on repetitive grammar exercises without contextual practice, you might find that while you can understand the rules behind the language, applying them in real conversation becomes challenging. This is exactly why resources like English Grammar Made Easy are great for learning rules, but they sometimes lack the dynamic practice needed to really elevate your spoken English. In essence, being at an intermediate level means you're proficient with routine structures, yet you haven't fully embraced a more fluid, natural use of English.
Building on that, it's important to understand that the intermediate plateau is marked by some clear signs. For instance, you might notice that your vocabulary expansion is limited, and your daily conversations become repetitive because you're not exposing yourself to new phrases or varied expressions. The challenge is that many learners inadvertently create a comfort zone by sticking with what they already know. which includes overly familiar classroom methods that don't push you to explore beyond the basics. One of the most significant steps forward is learning how to think in English. That is, shifting from a mindset of translation to one where you form thoughts directly in the language. When you're stuck at this level, you're also likely to make the same common English mistakes repeatedly because you haven't had enough immersive experiences that force you to adapt and grow. In short, while the intermediate level might feel comfortable, it's actually a signal that you need to diversify your learning approaches to truly break free.
Now let's delve into why so many of us find ourselves stuck at this stage. One major reason is our overdependence on traditional classroom methods. While these methods are excellent for building a foundation, they often don't offer the flexibility needed for real-life applications. Instead of engaging with dynamic content or practicing through spontaneous conversation, learners can become overly focused on memorizing rules and patterns, which hinders creative and adaptive use of the language. Additionally, many of us rely on structured routines and repetitive exercises that concentrate on textbook grammar. Think along the lines of English grammar made easy, but fail to translate that knowledge into everyday speech. The lack of immersive practice is another critical factor. Without the opportunity to interact in diverse and unplanned scenarios, it's difficult to break free from a mechanical use of language. This rigidity makes it challenging to move past the plateau and truly express yourself with confidence.
To wrap up this segment, let's consider how the characteristics of intermediate English can actually hold you back if not addressed. At this stage, it's common to fall into a pattern where the learning process feels safe and predictable, but also static. You might be revisiting the same exercises, relying on familiar grammar drills, and missing out on broader, more creative language use. This is why it's crucial to identify and consciously work on the habits that restrict your progress. Instead of continuously rehearsing the same material, challenge yourself to incorporate varied and spontaneous practice opportunities that encourage you to think on your feet. The goal is to transition away from constant reliance on structured methods and to foster a more natural, intuitive command of the language. When you start engaging with the language in diverse contexts, using techniques that help you how to think in English, you begin to see a significant shift in your overall fluency and confidence. Recognizing these pitfalls is the first step in transforming your study habits and stepping into a more advanced level of communication.
Let's dive right into the challenges that hold us back from reaching higher levels of English fluency. One of the most significant internal barriers is the fear of speaking English. Many learners find themselves gripped by anxiety about making mistakes, which often results in hesitance and self-doubt. This constant worry about saying the wrong thing can stop you from expressing your true thoughts. Moreover, the habit of translating in your head is another internal trap that disrupts natural conversation flow. Instead of forming your ideas directly in English, you find yourself mentally reverting to your native language, which not only slows you down but also undermines your confidence. If you truly want to overcome fear of speaking English and learn how to speak English without hesitation, it's essential to recognize and confront these internal voices that say, "I might mess up." I encourage you to take a moment and reflect. How often do you catch yourself pausing to translate, and how does that affect your willingness to join in conversations? This self-awareness is the first step toward breaking free from these mental blocks.
Now, let's shift our focus to the practical pitfalls that many of us encounter on our journey to mastering English. One common issue is mispronunciation, which can significantly impact your confidence when speaking. Without proper attention to the way words are pronounced, you may inadvertently reinforce patterns that make it hard to sound natural. This is where regular practice using English pronunciation tips becomes invaluable. Alongside pronunciation, repeated common English mistakes in grammar can creep into your speech, making you doubt your overall command of the language. Instead of actively working to fix English grammar mistakes, it's easy to fall into a routine where these errors become second nature. Another practical challenge is insufficient listening practice. When you aren't consistently exposed to the rhythms and nuances of native speakers, it becomes difficult to catch the subtle cues that guide fluent conversation. I invite you to ask yourself, do you feel that your listening skills are robust enough to support your speaking, or might a lack of immersive practice be holding you back? Recognizing these practical pitfalls is key to planning a more effective study routine.
Let's take a deeper look at how these internal barriers manifest in your day-to-day learning. It's not uncommon to freeze up or second-guess every word you say when the fear of making mistakes takes over. This fear can lead you to avoid opportunities where you could practice, ultimately reinforcing the very habits that keep you stagnant. Ask yourself, what is it that really makes you hesitate before speaking? Is it the concern of being judged or the anxiety of not being perfect? By confronting these internal challenges head-on, you pave the way for a more natural and confident use of the language. To truly overcome fear of speaking English, you might consider strategies like self-recording your practice sessions or engaging in low-pressure conversations where errors are seen as a normal part of the learning process. Reflect on this. How might your progress change if you viewed mistakes as valuable stepping stones rather than setbacks? Cultivating this mindset is crucial for learning how to speak English without hesitation and for unlocking a higher level of fluency.
Turning our attention back to the practical side, let's explore how addressing these challenges can transform your language skills. One area that often goes overlooked is the importance of consistent and mindful listening practice. Without regularly tuning in to native English, you might miss out on the natural cadence and intonation that are critical for effective communication. Have you ever wondered if dedicating a few minutes each day solely to listening might boost your overall fluency? Additionally, refining your pronunciation through targeted exercises can make a significant difference. Using focused English pronunciation tips can help eliminate recurring errors and improve clarity. Moreover, rather than repeatedly encountering the same mistakes, actively work to fix English grammar mistakes by reviewing and practicing in context. I encourage you to consider which practical challenges, whether it's mispronunciation or an over-reliance on written rules, have you noticed in your own practice? By identifying and addressing these pitfalls, you lay a solid foundation for a smoother, more confident transition to advanced communication. Embrace these strategies as part of your ongoing journey, and remember that every step forward brings you closer to your goal.
All right, let's move forward with some actionable strategies to really level up your English skills. One of the key ingredients in achieving fluency is daily practice and full immersion. I encourage you to incorporate daily English conversation into your routine, even if you have to start with speaking to yourself in the mirror. This isn't just about repeating phrases, it's about creating an environment where English becomes a natural part of your thought process. A powerful method to accelerate this is by using the shadowing technique for fluency. What this involves is listening carefully to native speakers, whether through movies, podcasts, or audiobooks, and then imitating their rhythm, intonation, and natural phrasing. I even recommend recording your own voice to listen back and notice areas where you might need improvement. Such exercises not only boost your confidence, but also help you break free from the habit of over-translating in your head. Imagine the difference it will make when you no longer have to pause and translate every thought. In addition, incorporating some tips to memorize English words can help expand your vocabulary effortlessly. By setting aside even a few minutes each day for focused practice, you're laying down the groundwork for smoother, more natural conversations. So, whether you're practicing alone or engaging in conversations with others, every moment counts toward building a more fluent, confident you.
Thanks, Ryan. Let's build on that by discussing targeted exercises that can make your language practice even more effective. One major step is to push yourself into real-life English conversations. Whether you're chatting with a colleague, a friend, or even using language exchange apps, the goal is to create situations that force you to think on your feet. When you engage in English conversation practice alone or with others, you're challenging yourself to respond quickly without the crutch of translating from your native language. It's crucial to adopt a mindset where you consciously work on how to stop translating in your head so that your thoughts flow directly in English. Along with speaking practice, I also suggest building self-correction into your routine. Every time you notice a mispronunciation or a slip in grammar, take a moment to analyze and adjust your response. This proactive approach not only fixes errors as they occur, but also reinforces the correct structures in your memory. And while doing so, Sprinkle in some strategies like tips to memorize English words, maybe through flashcards or a daily word challenge, to steadily build your vocabulary. Remember, each of these exercises is designed to help you move past hesitation and towards speaking English naturally and confidently.
Now let's put these strategies into practice with a quick role-play scenario to illustrate the transformation from hesitant to confident speech. Imagine you're at a small networking event and you need to introduce yourself. I'll start off in a manner that shows the common pitfalls, in a hesitant tone. Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm learning English, and I sometimes get stuck translating in my head. Notice how every pause makes the introduction less smooth? Now let's reframe that using the techniques we've just discussed, switching to a confident tone. Hello, I'm Ryan, and I'm excited to be here. I've been working on my fluency by practicing daily conversations and using the shadowing technique for fluency to enhance my accent and rhythm. I'm passionate about speaking English naturally, and every conversation helps me build more confidence. This role play shows the stark difference when you commit to targeted practice and let go of old habits. By regularly practicing these methods, you'll gradually replace hesitation with a more direct and self-assured way of speaking.
Great demonstration, Ryan. Let me add another example to highlight the transition further. Picture this. You're asking for directions on the street. Initially, you might begin with uncertainty, in a hesitant tone. Excuse me, can you, help me find the train station? I'm still, working on my English. That pause and the unnecessary fillers can hinder clear communication. Now, let's apply our new strategies. Switching to a confident tone. Excuse me, could you please help me find the train station? I've been practicing my daily English conversations and am learning how to stop translating in my head so I can speak more naturally. Every interaction is an opportunity to improve my fluency, and I'm really excited about using these techniques. By engaging in such deliberate exercises and embracing methods like recording your progress, or even practicing English conversation practice alone, you set yourself on the path to speaking with more assurance. Each role play like this is a step forward. Keep integrating these actionable strategies into your everyday routine, and soon you'll notice that your language skills are not only improving but are also more adaptable to any situation you encounter.
Let's explore how modern technology has revolutionized the way we master English, especially when time is a precious commodity. In today's digital era, there's an abundance of mobile apps and online platforms that make it easier than ever to advance your skills. If you haven't already, consider diving into some of the best apps to learn English. These applications offer dynamic interactive exercises, tailored quizzes, and even virtual speaking sessions that adapt to your progress, all designed to fit right into your daily schedule. Not only are these tools efficient, but many also provide free access to high-quality content, making them ideal for anyone looking to bolster their language skills without spending extra money. In addition, I highly recommend checking out an array of free English learning resources, including specialized podcasts dedicated to language improvement. These resources are perfect for squeezing in an extra bit of English listening practice during a commute or a quiet moment, ensuring that every spare minute contributes to your growth.
Building on that, another effective way to immerse yourself in the language is to create a dedicated learning space right at home. Adopting a Learn English at Home strategy can be as simple as setting aside a specific time each day for focused listening exercises. One fun and engaging method is to learn English with movies/Netflix. Watching movies or series in English not only exposes you to authentic accents and idiomatic expressions, but also helps you absorb cultural nuances that textbooks might miss. Imagine settling down after a long day to watch your favorite show while subconsciously enhancing your vocabulary and comprehension skills. This approach is ideal for those hectic days when you can't commit to lengthy study sessions. Every scene, every dialogue becomes a mini lesson. By incorporating these immersive techniques into your routine, you're not just learning, you're experiencing English in its natural form. This method of continuous exposure is a fantastic supplement to your regular studies, making learning both effective and enjoyable.
For many of you, balancing work, family, and study finding pockets of time to enhance your English might seem challenging, but modern tools are here to help. One practical tip is to integrate short, focused sessions into your day. For instance, if you have a few minutes during a break or while waiting for an appointment, use that time to engage with interactive lessons on those top-rated apps we mentioned earlier. Recording a brief voice memo of yourself can also be a great way to monitor your progress and boost confidence in your speaking abilities. This method of practicing English conversation practice alone enables you to identify areas for improvement without the pressure of immediate feedback. Additionally, using bite-sized lessons, whether via podcasts or streaming short clips, can seamlessly fit into a busy schedule. By planning these micro-sessions strategically throughout your day, you gradually build a habit that enhances both your listening and speaking skills. Remember, consistency, even in small doses, is the key to long-term success, and every bit of focused practice brings you closer to the fluency you're aiming for.
To wrap up this segment, let's reflect on how these modern resources and technology offer you a flexible, effective path to elevate your English. With an ever-growing selection of apps and online platforms, you have a tailor-made toolkit at your disposal. Whether you prefer interactive exercises, immersive streaming, or focused listening practice, combining these tools allows you to design a learning routine that fits seamlessly with your lifestyle. For instance, if you're a visual learner, complement your studies by watching engaging content on platforms like Netflix, while those who lean towards auditory learning can benefit from curated podcasts that enhance your English listening practice. This flexibility is particularly beneficial for busy middle-class learners who need practical, time-efficient strategies. Embrace these modern solutions to create an enriching environment at home and on the go. With dedication and the right digital resources, you'll not only bridge the gap between study and real-life application, but also pave the way for a more confident and fluent command of English.
Let's shift our focus now to transforming not just your study habits, but your entire mindset when it comes to mastering English. One of the most powerful tools at your disposal is a positive, growth-oriented mindset. It's essential to build self-confidence and see every mistake as a valuable learning opportunity rather than a failure. For many of us, the challenge lies in overcoming the anxiety of making errors and getting stuck in a cycle of self-doubt. Instead, imagine each misstep as a stepping stone that guides you towards better fluency. When you begin to think in English rather than constantly translating, you pave the way for a more natural flow in conversation. This mental shift is critical if you want to speak English confidently. Embracing a mindset that values progress over perfection encourages you to experiment with new phrases, test out advanced vocabulary, and really immerse yourself in the language. By adopting these habits, you not only break through the intermediate barrier, but also set yourself on a path to continuous improvement.
Absolutely, Ryan. Building on that idea, let's talk about some advanced practice techniques that can really help you move from intermediate to advanced English. One effective method is to learn English with stories. Whether you're reading captivating short stories or listening to engaging narratives, this approach enriches your vocabulary and introduces you to idiomatic expressions and context. Another excellent technique is English accent training, where you mimic native speakers to fine-tune your pronunciation and intonation. Both of these strategies not only enhance how you speak English confidently, but also teach you how to expand your English vocabulary organically by encountering new words in context. When you integrate these practices into your daily routine, you start to view language learning as an exciting journey rather than a series of rigid rules. Remember, the goal is to foster a love for the language and to be open to making mistakes, as each error is simply a sign that you're trying something new. With each story you read or dialogue you mimic, you're taking a step towards a more advanced, natural command of English.
Let's dive a little deeper into the mindset overhaul needed to truly embrace advanced English. A significant part of shifting your mindset involves embracing challenges and pushing past the fear of imperfection. Instead of waiting for perfect moments to practice, you should seize every opportunity to use English, even if it means stumbling along the way. Try to incorporate a routine where you actively challenge yourself to think directly in English during your day-to-day activities. whether it's narrating your thoughts while you cook or describing your surroundings as you commute. Over time, this consistent practice builds the neural pathways necessary for fluent, spontaneous conversation. As you gradually overcome the fear of making mistakes, you begin to speak English confidently without second-guessing every word. This proactive approach is key to not only mastering complex structures and idioms, but also to cultivating an environment where learning becomes a joyful, rewarding process. Every effort you make, no matter how small, contributes to your overall fluency and confidence.
Exactly, Ryan. And as we wrap up this segment on mindset, I'd like to leave you with a few inspirational tips that can propel you toward advanced English mastery. One of the most transformative strategies is to view every learning experience as a chance to grow rather than a test of your abilities. When you choose to learn English with stories, for example, you're not just memorizing vocabulary. You're experiencing the language in its most vibrant form. Alongside this, engaging in English accent training and challenging yourself to use new idioms in daily conversations can truly expand your linguistic repertoire. It's also important to set realistic goals that encourage you to step outside your comfort zone gradually. Reflect on the moments when you've managed to express an idea perfectly or when you understood a complex dialogue. Those victories are proof that you're capable of more. By continuously working to expand your English vocabulary and by practicing these advanced techniques, you'll find that your confidence grows, your speaking becomes more fluid, and ultimately you learn to speak English confidently in any setting. Embrace every challenge as a stepping stone on your journey to fluency, and remember that every effort you make counts toward your success.
When it comes to breaking through the intermediate barrier, the first and perhaps most critical step is shifting your mindset. Imagine the difference between hesitating at every word and speaking English confidently. It starts with nurturing self-belief and adopting a growth mindset. Instead of fearing mistakes, view them as essential stepping stones on your path to mastery. One powerful technique is to train yourself to think directly in English, rather than constantly translating from your native language. This habit not only boosts your confidence, but also enables a smoother flow of ideas. Embrace every opportunity to practice speaking, and remind yourself that every error is just a lesson learned. With persistence, you will begin to speak English confidently, opening the door to more advanced communication. This mindset is the foundation for transforming your skills and moving beyond routine language practice.
Building on that, let's discuss some advanced practice techniques that truly make a difference. One effective method is to immerse yourself in narrative experiences, like engaging in activities that let you learn English with stories. This approach exposes you to natural language patterns and cultural nuances, while also expanding your perspective on vocabulary usage. Coupled with occasional sessions of English accent training, you can refine your pronunciation and intonation so that your speech becomes more fluid and authentic. Additionally, continuously challenging yourself to explore new words and phrases is essential if you want to learn how to expand your English vocabulary effectively. The key here is to integrate these practices into your daily routine, so that every story you read or listen to enriches your linguistic repository and reinforces your ability to communicate in a more advanced, natural manner.
Let's dive a little deeper into how you can recalibrate your mindset. Think of each conversation as a rehearsal where every misstep is an opportunity to refine your technique. Instead of dwelling on the fear of making mistakes, shift your focus to the learning process itself. When you consciously start to form your thoughts in English, you'll find that you no longer need to pause for translation. This transition is crucial if you want to speak English confidently and naturally. Reflect on your progress every day. Identify what went well and consider what could be improved. By embracing a mentality that welcomes mistakes as learning opportunities, you pave the way for constant improvement. This positive self-talk and regular reflection create a feedback loop that not only boosts your self-esteem, but also accelerates your journey toward advanced English fluency.
And finally, let's talk about staying inspired and motivated on your learning journey. Overcoming internal barriers is as much about mindset as it is about strategy. One practical tip is to set small, achievable goals, like reading a short story in English every day. These little wins add up, and soon you'll notice a significant improvement in your vocabulary and comprehension skills. Embrace the idea that every challenge is a chance to grow. Whether you're practicing a new idiom or experimenting with different sentence structures, remember that progress comes from stepping outside your comfort zone. Celebrate your successes, however small, and use them as fuel to keep pushing forward. With dedication and the right mindset, you'll soon discover that advanced English isn't a distant dream, but a very attainable reality.
Now, let's talk about how to bring these advanced techniques into your everyday life. Real-world application is the final key to truly mastering English. Whether you're at work, catching up with friends, or even traveling, integrating advanced language skills into your daily routine is essential. Consider the scenario of preparing for a job interview, practicing your responses in English, focusing on your tone, and ensuring that you convey your ideas clearly. By simulating such situations through role-play exercises, you build confidence and adaptability. This kind of targeted practice helps you internalize specialized vocabulary and refine your conversational skills. It's not just about memorizing phrases, it's about becoming comfortable in diverse scenarios and learning how to sound like a native speaker. Embrace every opportunity to use your English in real-life contexts, and you'll soon see how these efforts pay off in your overall fluency.
Adapting your language style to different contexts is a crucial skill, especially when you consider the variety of situations you might encounter. Think about how your language changes when you're chatting with a friend versus delivering a formal presentation. Being aware of the nuances between casual and formal English is essential. For instance, understanding when to switch between British and American English can enrich your communication and prevent any misunderstandings. Additionally, familiarizing yourself with English slang can be a game changer in informal settings. This versatility is what sets apart a polished speaker. Whether you're gearing up for an important business meeting or preparing for an interview, tailoring your language to fit the context, be it casual or formal, is a skill that will give you a competitive edge. It's all about being adaptable and ensuring that your words suit the occasion.
Let's take a moment to explore some practical role-play exercises that you can easily incorporate into your routine. For example, simulate a job interview scenario with a friend, or even practice on your own by recording your responses. By doing so, you not only refine your vocabulary, especially the kind of business English vocabulary necessary for professional success, but also get a feel for how to present yourself in high-pressure situations. These exercises can also include negotiating in a meeting or even casual greetings in a social setting, which teaches you how to adjust your tone appropriately. Such practices are invaluable because they help bridge the gap between structured study and spontaneous conversation. The more you expose yourself to these varied contexts, the easier it becomes to sound like a native speaker. Consistency is key here, as regular practice will build the muscle memory and intuition required for seamless communication.
In our final discussion for this segment, I want to emphasize that the journey to fluency is a continuous process that thrives on real-world application. Integrating advanced techniques into everyday interactions, be it during travel, work scenarios, or even a casual coffee chat, reinforces what you've learned and keeps your skills sharp. Always be mindful of the context. Knowing when to use casual versus formal English can significantly enhance your message and ensure you're understood correctly. This adaptability is particularly important when preparing for English for job interviews or formal presentations, where the stakes are higher. Remember, each conversation is an opportunity to refine your skills and build upon your existing knowledge. Stay consistent, remain open to feedback, and let every interaction serve as a stepping stone toward becoming more fluent. With persistence and practice, you'll find that your ability to navigate diverse communication styles will continue to improve, bringing you ever closer to the level of fluency you desire.
As we wrap up today's session, let's quickly recap the journey we've taken together. We started by identifying why many of us feel stuck at intermediate English, recognizing both the internal barriers, like the fear of mistakes, and the practical pitfalls, such as over-translating and mispronunciation. We then explored actionable strategies, from daily conversations and immersive practices to leveraging modern technology that fits perfectly into a busy lifestyle. Remember, every challenge is just a stepping stone toward more confident, natural speech. I hope today's insights inspire you to embrace a growth mindset and take those small, consistent steps toward breaking through the plateau. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us and making this quality time count on your journey to fluency.
Thank you, Ryan. And thank you to all our listeners for joining us today on Speak Up. I want to leave you with this thought. Progress in learning English isn't measured by perfection, but by persistence and the willingness to adapt. By integrating new techniques into your daily routine, whether through role plays, immersive listening, or simply thinking directly in English, you're building a strong foundation for advanced fluency. Embrace every opportunity to learn, and don't be discouraged by setbacks. Instead, see them as valuable lessons that guide you forward. We appreciate you making this time part of your journey, and we look forward to bringing you more actionable tips in our upcoming episodes. Keep pushing forward, and until next time, stay confident and keep speaking English.